Tom and Jerry is the most famous cartoon in history and is considered one of the main reasons animated TV shows became so popular. There are many questions we'll answer in this video. Who created the series? Why are there so many different versions of it? And who is that woman whose face we almost never see? Join me on a journey spanning 86 years as we explore the history of the show from its beginnings to its decline. Let's begin. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. The story began during the early days of animation. At that time, the Walt Disney Company had released the first synchronized sound cartoon featuring Mickey Mouse. Meanwhile, Fleischer Studios competed with successful characters such as Betty Boop and Popeye, while Warner Brothers was succeeding with Looney Tunes. At that time, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer wanted to enter the animation industry, so they opened their own animation studio, spent huge amounts of money, and hired talented directors from Disney and Warner Brothers. However, their first productions were not very successful because they felt like direct copies of Disney's style. The profits did not cover production costs, and the company was close to shutting down its animation department forever. But two young employees at the studio, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, suggested an idea that would save the studio: a rivalry between a cat and a mouse. The studio head, Fred Quimby, initially rejected the idea, calling it boring and overused. But because the studio was desperate for any new content, they were given a chance to make a short film. In 1940, they released a short called Puss Gets the Boot. The cat was originally named Jasper, and the mouse was named Jinx, as the famous names had not yet been chosen. The film became a huge success in theaters thanks to its violent slapstick comedy, focus on action rather than dialogue, and perfectly timed music. It was even nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. After the success, MGM decided to continue the series with a larger budget. Hanna and Barbera organized an internal contest to choose new names for the characters, offering a $50 prize, which was a large amount of money at the time. Animator John Carr won the contest with the names Tom and Jerry. The names were not random. They were inspired by characters from a British novel published in 1821 called Life in London. The characters Tom and Jerry represented rebellious and mischievous behavior, and the phrase Tom and Jerrying became associated with troublemaking and wild behavior. The new names first appeared in the second short, The Midnight Snack, released in 1941. The episode lasted only 8 minutes and 40 seconds, but its production budget ranged between $30,000 and $40,000, which would equal nearly $700,000 today. Production was also extremely time-consuming, with the team producing only 6 to 8 episodes per year. In the early episodes, Tom looked more like a realistic cat. He walked on 4 legs, had thick fur, and older-looking facial features. However, this design limited physical comedy, so Hanna and Barbera redesigned him to behave more like a human being. He walked on 2 legs, used tools, read newspapers, and played musical instruments. Jerry, on the other hand, remained mostly unchanged throughout the years, with only minor visual adjustments. One of the biggest reasons for the success of the Golden Age was the music. Since there was very little dialogue, music became essential, and composer Scott Bradley played a major role in shaping the show's identity. Many of the sound effects were actually musical notes, arranged cleverly, and these sounds are still widely used today in comedy videos and cartoons. One of the most controversial aspects of the show was its violence. Tom and Jerry constantly experienced explosions, beatings, cuts, and destruction without ever dying. Many viewers believe this exaggerated violence made the show more entertaining and even served as emotional release for audiences. In fact, in 2016, an Egyptian ambassador claimed that Tom and Jerry was one of the causes of terrorism and extremism, although many people considered that statement exaggerated. During the Golden Age, Hanna and Barbera produced 114 theatrical short films between 1940 and 1958. The series received 13 Academy Award nominations and won 7 Oscars. Some of the most famous episodes include The Yankee Doodle Mouse, which referenced World War II, The Cat Concerto, the legendary piano episode and one of the greatest cartoons ever made, Mouse in Manhattan, where Jerry leaves the countryside for New York City, The Flying Cat, the famous flying episode, The Little Orphan, which inspired many famous internet memes. Johann Maus, set inside the home of Austrian composer Johann Strauss II. Despite rumors that Blue Cat Blues was a tragic final episode of the series, this was never true, as many episodes were produced afterward. However, by the mid-1950s, television had entered nearly every American home. People preferred staying home instead of going to movie theaters, which greatly hurt theater revenues, especially animated shorts. MGM realized that selling old episodes to television networks generated more profit than producing new ones. So in 1957, they made the shocking decision to shut down the animation department and fire all employees, including Hanna and Barbera. Later, Hanna and Barbera took advantage of television's popularity and founded Hanna-Barbera, producing legendary shows such as The Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, and The Smurfs. As for Tom and Jerry, the series returned in several new forms. The first was the Gene Deitch era from 1961 to 1962, which suffered from low budgets and weak animation. Many animators in Czechoslovakia had never even watched the original Tom and Jerry cartoons. The result was strange, dark episodes that were heavily criticized, and Gene Deitch reportedly received angry letters and threats from fans. After that came the era of Chuck Jones, one of the creators behind Looney Tunes. His version was much better and introduced science fiction and fantasy elements, although it still could not match the brilliance of the Golden Age. In 1975, Hanna-Barbera returned to produce a new television version. However, due to increasing social pressure and criticism claiming cartoons promoted violence among children, they were forced to remove almost all violence from the series. For the first time ever, Tom and Jerry became close friends instead of enemies, a change many fans believe destroyed the identity of the show. Many more attempts followed, including the Tom and Jerry comedy show, Tom and Jerry Kids, Tom and Jerry Tales, direct-to-video films like Tom and Jerry, The Magic Ring. In 1992, the first full-length Tom and Jerry movie was released. Surprisingly, Tom and Jerry talked throughout most of the film, something audiences strongly disliked, causing the movie to fail critically and commercially. Later, the rights moved to Warner Brothers, which continued producing films such as Tom and Jerry Meet Sherlock Holmes, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In 2021, a new live-action Tom and Jerry movie was released. It performed reasonably well at the box office despite the pandemic, but it still failed to capture the spirit of the original series. Finally, in 2025, a fully 3D animated film called Tom and Jerry, The Forbidden Compass, was released as a Chinese-American co-production, showing that Tom and Jerry may now be even more popular in Asia and the Arab world than in the United States itself. Over 86 years, more than 500 episodes and 45 films have been produced in many different styles and versions. Tom and Jerry continues to survive across generations. Your grandfather loved it, your father loved it, you probably loved it too, and your younger brother may love it as well. In my opinion, the greatest credit for the franchise's enduring success belongs entirely to the original Golden Age, which will always remain the best version of Tom and Jerry no matter how many remakes or new adaptations are created.